Ingredients needed for the banana bread are 1 3/4 cups of flour. So here's my 1 cup and my 1, 2, 3/4. 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So there are leavening agents right there that are going to make the banana bread rise. 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, which I measured on a separate piece of wax paper, which you'll see why in a little bit. 1 stick of softened butter, 1 cup of mashed ripened banana, which is about 2 large bananas. I mashed this in a separate small bowl and then I put it in my measuring cup. 2 eggs that are beaten, 2 tablespoons of milk, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Step 1 is to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Step 2 is to lightly grease an 8x8 square pan. So as you can see, I have my cooking spray here, which I've already sprayed my pan with, lightly coating it. This is why I measured the sugar separately from the other dry ingredients, because this was going to be the first ingredient that's mixed with the sugar. So as you can see, the butter and the sugar are combined and they're nice and fluffy. Do this creamed butter mixture. Now we're going to continue to add the rest of the wet ingredients. So we're going to add in the 1 cup of mashed bananas, the 2 beaten eggs. Next, we're going to add the 2 tablespoons of milk and the 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to put it back on the stand mixer to continue blending them together. For this next step, you're going to switch to the whisk attachment for your mixer as we start to mix together all of the wet ingredients. So the whisk attachment is going to break up all of those clumps of banana and help blend all of the ingredients together evenly. And I'll show you what that looks like once it's done. So I'm slowly increasing the speed to make sure that the wet ingredients are well incorporated. So let's take a look. All right. And here we have our wet ingredients. In a separate mixing bowl, we're going to now mix together all of our dry ingredients that we previously measured. So I'm going to pour them in and mix. So in this bowl, I have the flour, the baking powder, the baking soda, the salt, and the cinnamon, all ready to be combined. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like once I'm done whisking. Here are the dry ingredients once mixed together. Now we're going to add these dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. I'll show you what that looks like. For this step, you want to add a little bit of the dry ingredients in at a time. Let's see if I could do this one-handed. So just add a little bit at a time and then start to mix it together. Nice and slow. Stopping periodically to scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl to make sure everything's getting well incorporated. Here I added a little bit more flour mixture and I'm going to continue to blend. Like I mentioned before, periodically you're going to take a rubber spatula to scrape the sides of the mixing bowl down to the bottom so everything gets well mixed. I'm going to continue to add the last of our flour mixture. finish mixing until it's nice and smooth. And notice that now that I'm adding the flour mixture in, I'm mixing at a slower speed because I do not want the flour mixture to spill out of the bowl. All right, so once the batter is looking smooth, that means it's done. So we're looking for no lumps in the batter. At this point, we're going to now pour this batter into the prepared 8x8 pan that we greased earlier at the beginning. Use my rubber spatula to scrape the bowl into the pan. And I'll show you what that looks like once I'm done. So I set my timer for 30 minutes. And I'll show you what that looks like once it's done baking. Here's the banana bread after 30 minutes. I took it out of the oven. Notice that we've got a nice golden brown top. I'm gonna take a toothpick now and insert the toothpick in the center of the banana bread to check if it's cooked all the way through, and the toothpick is dry, so that means that it's done. We're gonna allow it to cool for 15 minutes on a cooling rack before serving it. And enjoy.